What's up, YouTube? It's me, GC, one of the co-hosts of our show, Sneakers and Up. Thanks for watching. So today's topic is going to be a continuation of my last live video, where in the last live video I talked about StockX versus GOAT and the quality control. So StockX and GOAT are obviously online, resale apps or resale marketplace, what have you. So that's obviously online. Today I want to talk about consignment shops. And consignment shops are basically resale shops where basically people bring in items or they get items on their own and then they resell them for a usually higher price in most cases. So I'm going to talk about are they good or bad. So, I think the answer is it depends upon your perspective. I personally think they're good. I might even argue that they're great if you know how to use them and understand what they're for. So a simple example would be car dealers, right? Are car dealers good or bad? Well, I mean, if you go to a car dealer and they give you a price, you don't like it, and you buy it anyways, and you might think they're bad, or you think they're, giving you like overinflated prices, you might say they're bad, but they are still offering you the option to buy the car. So, you can choose it or not, and I think that's what's good. But let me get into the consignment shops and get off that car dealer example. So a consignment shop is basically a place where you go in and they have sneakers or streetwear, hoodies, t-shirts, blah, 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 accessories, skateboards. And they're usually popular brands like high ticket items or hyped items, and you have the option, they sell them. And so, for example, like I have this jacket here. It's a Seattle Mariners starter jacket, something I will never sell. I've been on the hunt for this a long time. Anyway, that's a side story. I won't get into that. But basically, you can go in there and they'll basically will have the jacket in there or the shoes, and you can actually see it, try it on, look at it, feel it, touch it, and know exactly what you're going to buy. I think that's awesome. Because, a lot of times online when you buy things, you get pictures or sometimes just a description and no picture, and you don't have a chance to see what the item actually looks like or feels like. So that's one thing I think is awesome about consignment shops. Also, the other thing is that the owners, and some of them are pretty cool. You can talk to them, they'll chop it up, depending on where you go, they won't have attitude. Some places do. And there's also other sneaker enthusiasts in the shop that you can rap with and talk kicks and, just kind of politic with. The other thing I like about consignment shops, what I think makes them good, is the fact that they're convenient, they're local, they're nearby. You can just go in there and physically see what they have, and then also see their whole collection. So you might be in there thinking about one thing and see other things. And again, you can pick it up, you can feel it, you can touch it. That's one thing I think is really awesome about the consignment shops. Now, what can make the consignment shop bad? Hey, what's up to 5 Minute Sneaker TV? Thanks for watching. Seattle Mariners in the house. Got the starter. It's official tissue right here. I think this came out like 1989, 1988. Shout out to Ken Griffey Jr. and the Seattle Mariners. The old logo, my favorite logo, this original one here. Favorite jacket will never sell. Anyway, sell it to you. But back to what I was saying was that, with the consignment shops, you can see physically what's in the shop. And I think that's what's awesome. You can see their whole collection, everything, so on and so forth. So then now let's talk about what makes consignment shops bad. And I don't think anything makes them bad, but you can make bad decisions in there. It could be very, tempting, because what happens is that once you're physically in the shop, once you physically touch the shoe or the item that you're thinking about buying, it's harder to put it down and walk away. So if they have this jacket in there and they want to sell it for, $1,000, and I really, really want that jacket, physically touching it and seeing it makes it much harder to walk away. So that doesn't make the shop bad. That just makes it more difficult for me to make the decision of whether I'm going to buy something or not. The other thing is that if you bring stuff in there to sell to them, so for example, if I had a pair of shoes, I have these right here, just happen to have them, these teal 4s, and I brought them in. They're like, yeah, no one's buying these. I'll give you $50 for them. And I paid like $200 for these shoes. So the thing is that if I'm really desperate to sell those shoes, then I can get screwed over, because they know that it's supply and demand. So, they're going to give me as little as possible in some cases. And if I'm not careful, the bad can be that I end up giving a shoe to them for way below what it should be sold for. But in their defense, they have a business. I remember watching a show and the guy said, look, I have a business here. It costs money for rent for this building, to pay my employees, so on and so forth. So they can't give you the best deal that, say, an online or eBay or even hand-to-hand person can give you, because they have extra expenses. And the other thing that happens is that people tend to forget is that they have to still sell the shoe. So getting back to this teal 4 here, is the fact is that, yes, I think the shoe is worth, say, $150 or $90 or $120 or whatever. But the thing is that now I've sold it to them, but they have to sell the shoe. So they don't really make any money off them buying my shoe. They lose money, and they have to now have the cost or the effort to resell the shoe. So that's another thing. So when you go to these sneaker shops or these consignment stores, you have to be careful, because if you go in there and you really need the money, then I guess you could say it's good because it's a place for you to get quick money. But people could also argue that it's bad, because the thing is that they know you need that money, so they can give you a really lowball price. And if you can't walk away, meaning you really need that money, then I guess you're stuck with it. So that's just my thoughts about consignment shops and whether they're good or bad. I think they're great if you know how to use them and accept them for what they're worth. The people interactions, touching the shoe, putting on the shoe, the culture that you can get by talking to the people, seeing all the other shoes in the shop is great. What could be considered bad, as I said before in this little wrap up, is that their prices tend to be higher than where you can find in other places, and they tend to give you low money when they're buying your shoes. So if you can walk away, then that's not an issue. It's like going to a car deal, like I was saying in my beginning of this, kind of story or live broadcast, is that if you can walk away, then there's nothing wrong. They're just trying to look out for themselves and make money as well. So that's the good and bad of the consignment shops. I'm stopped for a second. I'm looking at a comment from 5 Minute Sneaker YouTube and so on and so forth, meaning that, accept it for what it is. They're not really bad. I think they're great, but they can be bad if you don't really understand, or you don't have like the ability. It's not even self-control. Sometimes you really need the money, so you have no choice. So they kind of catch you in a bad place. So that's it for me. Just my little thoughts. Share your thoughts. I'm really curious what you guys are thinking. And by the way, a comment I have on here from 5 Minute Sneaker YouTube is that saying, where am I located now? I'm in the Bay Area. So, Oakland, San Francisco, Bay Area. And he's asking, do I know of any consignment shops in Seattle? No, I've only go to Seattle to visit family and blah, blah, blah. But I don't know like all the consignment shops. I know there's a few. What was it, like Northwest Kicks or something like that is up there, or Northwest Threads or whatever. Some Northwest in the title. Anyways, that's a consignment shop there, but I don't know if they're, any good. So that's it for me. I want to wrap this up. By them, do you really consider it a ripoff? Because they never force you to pay for it. So am I missing something? Are consignment shops really bad? Some people could say, oh, they give backdoors and so on and so forth. But again, that's a business. So, that's my thoughts. End of this ramble. Salute to 5 Minute Sneaker YouTube and everybody else who's watching this live. Everybody else who's watching after the fact. Salute to you as well. And I'll catch you next time. Peace.